did you have days you didn't want to do this?
Absolutely.
Okay, 3 more questions.
Okay.
Did you have days that you wanted to stop doing this?
Yes.
Okay, so what got you through all that?
And I was like, because, good, sweet. Hey guys, sorry to interrupt.
Well, no, this will be the beginning.
Oh, we
So
hadn't started.
no,
Oh, okay, cool.
Like, so you just...
Perfect.
This is Anthony.
This is Isaac.
This is Stefanie with our special guest.
Eddie Pina.
If he wants to introduce himself.
Yeah, I do. My name is Eddie. I am the metabolic specialist here at Lifetime Fitness at the Rim.
He's apparently camera shy.
A little bit.
A little
Which
bit.
is,
I didn't know. This is my first time here, so I wasn't
That's just,
quite sure how to
bounce it
Wait,
around.
you saying you don't watch this? So you don't know how this flows?
I've never been in the actual podcast, vlog, whatever you want
That
to
was a
call
good
it.
one, Tony.
Yeah. Just threw it
Dude, welcome, man.
under the bus.
Sweet, dude.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
How's your day going?
awesome.
It's good. Just got out done with lunch and full, kind of
Yeah.
sleepy.
Did you go out to eat or you in a cafe?
Went to Hoo Hot.
Oh,
Ooh,
Yeah.
that sounds good.
we went 2 days ago. Dude, first time ever in my life, I went back 3 times.
Whoa.
In like,
awesome.
my first 2 both meals were like, or plates were the same size.
The cool thing about it is it's fairly healthy. So it's like
Absolutely.
just meat, veggies. Well, I don't do the veggies, but
Yeah,
carbs.
but zucchini, squash, broccoli. We make Zara get broccoli. We make him get veggies, but the broccoli is his choice.
That's something that's awesome. Like, Ava does that automatically. Goes up, gets the broccoli, gets the carrots, steals the money off the table.
But because she loves it, right?
Yeah, she does.
Yeah. See, Zara, we're still like, he does it because he knows.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to tell him, so he's like, all right, let's go ahead.
See, that's good. Because
So
then
good,
it becomes,
right?
when he gets older, it's a matter of just he's already grabbing
He's
it.
like,
you
man,
know?
I got to eat these veggies because of these benefits. Because
Yeah.
when I talked to him, oh man, the other day he had like white patches. I mean, I had him as a teenager growing up, right? And malnutrition.
Yeah.
And he's like, dude, what are these white patches? And he's like, I don't know. I'm like, you know what it is? I can tell you. And he's like, what? I'm like, it's your nutrition because you're not eating enough fruits and vegetables, and you got to start eating more veggies. It's like it'll make your face look better.
Yeah.
And when you give him the why, he's one of those. He needs to know the why, right?
Yeah.
So when you know that eating yellow and orange fruits and veggies is going to help your face and acne and skin development, he was all ears. And all of a sudden, dude, he's eating an orange, 2-3 oranges a day, or mandarins. We love mandarins in Missouri,
Good.
I cleared it all right up.
right? Yeah.
At first, he was probably like, sure.
He probably fact checked me on YouTube.
Just walked away.
That's awesome, though.
Like the generational difference, like everything, any question, any research thing, boom, he goes straight to YouTube, and I go straight to the Google and like research, and it's nuts. Where YouTube, you can legit just go and get someone's perspective, maybe even someone put a video together, like
As
it's
opposed to me
nuts.
fact checking, you go into the library.
I literally just did that this morning because I forgot, because I had a client and I was going to show her how to foam roll and we didn't have time after class. I literally just sent her a bunch of YouTube videos on the benefits of foam rolling, one video, and then a full 22-minute full body foam rolling video that goes from muscle to muscle, why it's important and stuff. And I was like, dude, this is awesome. I didn't know this was on YouTube.
Yeah.
I'm like super excited.
Everything's there. You need to fix something, like our water heater got jacked up, I went to YouTube.
Exactly.
I mean, as stupid as it is, it's like, all right, because I'm going to see a
You
video
just
of
have
it
a
while I'm
vacuum
doing
cleaner
it.
it out,
Yeah.
or something. It's some easy like fix where you're like, man.
Yeah, ours wasn't even that bad. They turned off our gas because they were changing the piping. They just didn't tell us they turned off the gas.
Oh.
So I'm literally out there taking stuff apart, and I'm like trying to figure out what to do here. And they're like talking about the pilot light. I'm like, the pilot light hasn't been on. It hasn't been on for a while. So I called the city, and they're like, oh no, the gas is off down that whole block right now. I'm like, oh,
Oh, that's why.
geez. I call.
Never mind.
Yeah. How's it blow up yet? So we're good.
Back to Eddie.
Since we've kind of gotten off topic.
You're the metabolic specialist. Tell me a little bit about, or us and the viewers, metabolics and why. Because man, you've been the specialist for
5 years, 6 years, 5, 6 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my job here is basically to test people's metabolisms during activity and at rest. That's one of the things that really separates Lifetime apart from any other fitness facility, gyms, or whatever you want to call them, is our metabolic testing and our ability to actually see what's going on inside the individual instead of just using archaic methods, calculations, and basically just guessing. Because me and Anthony pretty much almost way around the same, but our metabolisms are way different. We require different calorie intake, and we require different macro intake as well. So with that metabolic testing, we're able to see exactly what the person needs, as opposed to, again, just doing a simple equation.
And the metabolism will change even for
Absolutely.
you.
It's
So
dynamic.
what's the lowest metabolism you've had, and then the highest metabolism?
The lowest my metabolism has dipped, I've seen it get down to around 1,700 calories.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the fastest I've seen my metabolism reach is around 2,600 calories.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So it's interesting seeing it fluctuate from, I would say, I like to get my resting metabolic test done every 3 to 4 months.
Gotcha.
So basically every quarter. And it's interesting to see exactly how my calories go up and down, how my body fluctuates. But more interestingly than just seeing the calories go up and down, it's really interesting to see what fuel my body uses at different times of the year as well, right?
Based off of stress.
Based
or
off of stress,
just lifestyle factors.
holiday
right?
seasons, summer, all that stuff.
The what?
Stole my question.
Oh,
man.
my bad.
No, so it's just interesting to see all that. So it actually helps me. It helps me plan for it.
That's cool.
You know?
Because you get patterns now.
Exactly.
You kind of
Absolutely.
anticipate it.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet.
So since you stole my question, have you noticed, obviously, what time of year do you notice it fluctuates up? What time of year do you notice it fluctuates down? Do you notice it's more seasonal or more stress-based? Because there's no
I would say I would say it's more seasonal more than anything.
Okay.
I'll take it back to 2016. That was a very weird year. Very weird in the sense of like stress, right? But not so much in terms of like, oh, I got bills, my family's annoying me, that kind of stress. It was actually no, I guess it was bills too, because that was the year I got married.
Yeah.
So saving up for all that stuff, that kind of created some kind of stress on my mind and my body. But that year is probably the heaviest I got. And this time last year, January 2017, I was probably the highest body fat percentage I've ever been. And it was at 25%, right? And I got married in November, so from November up until January, that month, those 2 months were just
Celebration.
crazy. It was just crazy. Celebration, holidays, Christmas parties. I mean, just everything you think
Yeah.
of that would wreak havoc on someone, it happened in those 2 months, right? And then when I tested my metabolism then, that's when it was at its highest, like around 2,500 calories. And then when I looked at my actual energy usage that my body required, it was all carbs. I was burning sugar like crazy. My fat was really low. I think it was my carb usage was 70-something% and 30-20%.
Man,
yeah, it
yeah.
was really bad.
Switch.
And that's really what made me want to change things in 2017. And that's, for me, health-wise, was probably the best year I've had in a long, long time.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So you did mention the fluctuations. So I know this is probably going to be a question that some people might have. We've kind of already touched on stress. What are some of the things that can cause fluctuations in your metabolism?
Weightlifting, cardio, again, stress from bills, stuff like that'll make your metabolism, like I'm sure y'all covered it already, in fight or flight, that kind of thing. Anything really can make your metabolism fluctuate.
Feel free to cover it again,
Yeah.
because like different perspectives, we
Yeah.
would love it. Man.
So if your metabolism is always in fight or flight, it's going to always be elevated, right? So it's going to require more energy and more energy and more energy, or more calories, more food to kind of dumb it down. So again, if you're always stressed, your body's going to act like it needs more fuel, but it really doesn't, right? Because you're just sitting there like stressed out, right? So if you're always bringing in food and not using it, it's just going to store it as fat, which is why people gain weight
I
during
like
holidays.
that. I like the way you
know.
said it.
Yeah.
Because essentially, I have people in there who come to me and they're like, we know we all get it. They're like, I have a slow metabolism, and we know that the lady who's 205 pounds sitting across from me has a faster metabolism than me, because it's mass based and stress based, and so we kind of have to go through that with them and let them know, like, it's not necessarily a good thing. It's just a speed in which way you're going. We just want to make sure we're going towards the weight loss direction.
Absolutely, that's one of the things I've seen over the past 5 years. I've been here for going on eight and a half. Is everybody says the same thing? I have a slow metabolism, but in fact they don't have a slow metabolism. They're under eating, and then when we go to that one page that shows if you're burning fat or sugar, they're burning a lot of sugar, right? So what we have to do, and it's frustrating, that's why a lot of people fall off, is we have to reprogram your whole metabolism. We have to redo all that metabolic damage that you've done to yourself. And that alone takes, from my experience, Months, yeah. Some people are lucky and they reverse it in 1 month. Some people are unfortunate. It may take a year, 2 years. It's just because by the time we get to them, they may have thyroid problems. They may have
metabolic syndrome.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is that alone, like we know those things are really bad.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
So when you said metabolic damage, like what is that? Because we have talked about it, but again, different perspective. What does that mean?
The way I break it down to my clients is basically you have done years of disservice to your body. Basically that. You've eaten out of cans, you've eaten out of boxes, fast food, drinking, smoking cigarettes, things like that. And that's one thing that I've really realized in 2016, going into 2017, is that I'm not 21 anymore, I'm not 18 anymore. Our mentalities are still back in our high school days.
I'm invincible.
Yeah, back in our high school days where, in high school I did this, yeah, but you're 40, 50, 60 years old now, you can't do that anymore.
And you have a family, and you're in a business, or, like
all those other things.
Yeah. And then I know a lot of people use the analogy of your body as a car, right? But really it is. When you first get the car, you can run it up and down the street like crazy, right? But as the more miles get on, once you get closer to 100,000 miles, you start to notice that, oh crap, now my oil light is always on. My gas is always running down lower than usual. My fuel miles per gallon is coming down.
Get up in the engine.
Same thing with our bodies. Like we've done so much damage to it that again, our thyroid, our adrenal glands, all these things are not functioning like they should anymore. And those are all signs that your body's telling you, hey, stop or I'm going to give out.
And to piggyback on that, and we've touched it's Bruce Ames came up with it. It's the triage theory. Where all those years of eating out of boxes and cans, right, and not getting the right amount of minerals and vitamins and nutrients, that your body says, okay, I'll keep you alive right now, but when you're 40, 50, 60, it's going to come back to bite you in the ass, and that's what a lot of our people that we deal with are dealing with.
Absolutely.
So you've been here for 9 years, 8 years?
Mm-hmm.
When did you really start tracking your metabolism? And I don't mean like tracking it, I mean like actually paying attention to the fluctuations. Like how far back?
To be honest with you, it was probably not until I was 4 or 5 years into my career, so probably about 3 years ago.
Okay. So when you think about it, obviously you were 3 years younger then. How does your metabolism match up to 3 year younger you?
Right now, it's a lot better than it was before.
Yeah.
But it's only because I started tracking everything, and it's because I really started looking at what exactly my body is doing, what it needed.
Yeah.
Because I noticed that all my years of partying in college and all that stuff, it caught up to me. It really did.
So the reason why I ask that is a lot of people come back, and I mean it's a 3 year differential, so it's not the 50-year-old coming in, the 60-year-old coming in, but you've proven or disproven that your metabolism declines with age. Mm-hmm. In a 3 year single person study, I mean, we can all validate that from our own experiences, but you in one body have proven that you don't get a slower metabolism just because you got older.
Yeah, and I think that's one big misconception when people say, oh, I have a slow metabolism. A slow metabolism isn't a bad thing per se, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I look at it as efficiency, right? So my body doesn't require as much energy or as many calories as it did before. So I'm efficient, right? I'm efficient with it. So even though my calorie needs only 1,800 right now, it's slower than it was. Mm-hmm. It just requires less energy to run because it's so efficient.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So.
No, that's it. That's exactly it.
And you notice your fat metabolism's higher now, obviously, as well.
Yeah. So optimally, you want your body to be burning 80% of your total calories, or your metabolism, right, from fat. And you want 20% to come from carbohydrates. That's optimal. That's ideal, right? The normal is, I think it was 60-40, right? 60-40. But normal, you don't want to be normal because the normal American is overweight.
60-40, because that's a lab setting, right? Yeah. So a 60-40 is normal, but how many people have perfect weeks to allow them to be 60-40?
You're right.
Nobody. So, yeah, exactly. It's not. It's something I always tell them. I'm like, in the lab, when you're fasted, this is what can happen. When you're eating balanced meals, controlling your blood sugar, this is the possibilities. Because even people who, what I've noticed is we got that analyzer fixed. People who are heavier are still burning a little bit more fat than I'm seeing, but it's because their body's saying, like, we have all this fat, we gotta burn it.
All
right?
triglycerides in their bloodstream.
Yeah,
It's like, dude,
when
it's
they're
trying to
in
get
a
rid of
fasted state.
Yeah.
But a lot of these people will wake up in the morning and have a bowl of oatmeal or cereal or Starbucks or whatever, right? And what does that do? It says, hey, let's burn sugar, right, and store fat.
Well, it's like, did you guys watch the video? I didn't send it to you, but did you watch the video on the ketone
I did.
production?
No, I
Did you see
did.
it?
Absolutely.
Oh, the
I
one
tagged, I said something back to
started.
you guys.
Yeah,
that was
so
awesome.
you sent a link back.
Yes.
I didn't watch your link yet. I'm sorry.
Just about, it was just talking more in depth. Oh, it wasn't more in depth, I wouldn't say. It was just a separate TED talk about it.
Okay. Yeah,
The actual development of it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then so with that, with the fasting, when you think about your fast, your body breaks down creates ketones faster because you're fasting, which is going to increase fat metabolism, which is going to, well, it shouldn't increase, it's a byproduct of fat metabolism. So if you can actually get your metabolism to run more efficiently, you need less carbs. So when you think about that efficiency matrix, your body needs less because you're burning more of this versus needing more because you're burning more sugar.
And something I just realized right now when we were talking right now, it's for the past 4 years between this, like Christmas time and the first of the year, I've always gotten sick, always. And the reason I know that is because the past 3 or 4 years I've gone to the Alamo Bowl game with my dad, right? And every year I was sick during that game, but I would still go. This year was the first year we didn't go, and I'm not sick, so I'm like. So it's like, because I changed up my nutrition a lot. So
absolutely
interesting. I just realized
that makes sense because
Light bulb moment.
yeah, when we celebrate, there's more beer or alcohol, there's more pastries, there's just all that bad food that feeds the bad gut bacteria, but the bad gut bacteria, right? Which is gonna, I mean, our immune system lies there. So
Yep.
absolutely.
I think I like that you're kind of that we're touching on that. I think that's really important, that the body has the ability to burn the fat that we have stored. One thing I love about the active metabolic assessment is that page that shows the individual how much energy they have stored in their body from fats, and I think that's amazing. But there's a very thinking in terms of as a member standpoint, when we're hearing that we shouldn't be primarily burning carbohydrates, it's a really scary thing to think about in terms of, oh, I should just stop eating carbs. I should stop eating carbs. Carbs are bad. That's not necessarily what we're trying to say. There's nothing wrong with carbohydrates, as we've touched on before, if you're getting them from the right sources. And so if you're consuming majority of your carbohydrates from complex carbs like vegetables and fruits and things that are going to give you much more and fuel your body in more ways than just energy in terms of helping your body function the way it's supposed to, you don't get sick, which is awesome. But you're still getting enough carbs for your brain to function, for your body to function, for the regular body functions that you need. But when you need extra energy, there's not an excess amount of carbs floating around in the blood. Your body can go ahead and break down that fat cell and give you some extra energy while we're waiting to have lunch. Or maybe you didn't have time to eat breakfast that morning and you end up intermittent fasting on accident. You have some extra energy to burn during that time period.
Absolutely.
But in order for your body to be able to do that, it has to know that fat is a fuel source. So if all you feed to your body is processed carbs, those pastries in the morning, only oatmeal with no protein, Starbucks sugar-laden drinks, if that's all you're fueling your body with, your body will not prefer to break down a fat cell because it takes a long time to do that. It's a lot faster to break down a carbohydrate molecule that's already optimized to give your body energy. That's the thing that we have to understand, is that there's better sources of energy, better options for carbohydrates than just processed foods. So there's nothing wrong with carbs. That's the one thing I want to make sure people understand. There's nothing wrong with them. You just need to have them from the right sources.
Yeah, I love carbs.
For sure, same. I know.
Make people happy, literally.
Yeah.
So we know that you said you got the heaviest at 25%, but as I don't know if many people know, but we know you won the challenge, right?
Yeah, I
so
won the one in the fall.
60-day challenge, the second, not this last one, right? The one before it.
I'm sorry, yeah, I won the...
Which one was it?
I guess you can call it fall. Yeah, the fall.
Yeah, we'll call it the fall.
Yeah.
But so let's talk about that, right?
Yes, I did.
What percentage of body fat did you start out at, and what did you finish? And kind of talk to us a little bit of.
If you want to get technical, I started out at, I believe, 23.9. So
Okay.
basically 24, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I dropped all the way down to 9%.
Nice.
9%, 60 days.
That was a percentage change of.
I think it was around 60-something%. I can't really remember. Top of my
Yeah,
head,
the 60-ish?
Yeah, 60%, yeah.
Enough to beat Bowen.
Yeah.
Hey, Bowen got it right back though,
He did.
which
Yeah.
we got to give him credit for.
He did,
Which
yeah.
we should probably get him on next.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah. So, what did you? Obviously, you tested your metabolism, but what do you credit it the most to?
My competitiveness
Yeah,
and
that's huge that you
yeah,
said that. I love that.
my
you said
competitiveness and my support system, big time. I feel like a lot of people fall off the wagon because they don't have a support system at home,
that. Okay.
right? I've seen more times than not women that come in, they really want to lose weight. They really do. And when they're here, they're motivated, they're all into it, they do everything they need to do in here, right? They bust their ass. But when they get home, they don't have that support system at home. You know, their husbands are like, I don't want the vegetables, I don't want this, I don't want that. I'm good with just a pizza, right?
Mm-hmm.
So of course, the family member has to appease the husband or the wife and then the kids. So it's hard cooking for everybody. So I attribute probably 90% of my success to my wife, big time, yeah.
So how much, I know how much you spoke to us about it, but I was to tell people how much you spoke to your wife about your goals and you spoke to other people about your goals.
Every day. We got to the point where, and again, all my 90% of my success, even 95, is to her. She woke up at 4 a.m. with me every morning and would cook me breakfast while I got ready, right? Not once did I ask her to do that, but she knew that it was important to me, and she woke up and cooked for me, right? And then I also had a team here to help me. I asked you weren't here yet at that time, I don't think, or you had just started, right?
Yeah,
Something like that.
I was
But I bounced ideas back and forth with you guys, especially towards the end, when I really was trying to cut back on water, look at my sodium levels and things like that. So it is very important to have a support system, to have a team when you're trying to reach a goal. Because if not, the likeliness is for you to fall off. Because I've done 60-day challenges in the past, and it lasted like the average person, maybe 2-3 weeks.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, I think that's huge because I think a lot of people don't like to talk about what they're going through. They don't like to talk about their goals. They feel like it's selfish. But if you have that support, it makes it a lot easier. Because like you said, you never asked Claudia to make food.
Mhm.
She just got up and did it.
Yeah, every day when we would talk, she would ask me, is today a low carb day, or is it a high carb day, a medium carb day? What is it for you today? And then she would adjust my meals accordingly, right? And we sat down, and I would break it down to her. I showed her my metabolic test, and I showed her exactly how I was cycling my calories, cycling my carbs and my fats, and my water intake, and things like that. So again, it did take a whole team effort.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's awesome.
I think that's one of those things that we need to look at more.
How'd you deal with the temptations? You know, at the gym, around just foods, everything. You know, how did you deal with that?
My competitiveness, you know, and it really came down to that, like, and it was my drive to want to prove people wrong.
Okay.
You know, and I got to a point where
Which people?
I just, well, one bone. We were competing. We were competing
Okay.
against each other. We were competing against each
Gotcha.
other, and it was a friendly competition, you know,
Yeah.
amongst friends. But he was one. There's just some members that I talked to, and they were like, "Oh, you're gonna fall off," or you know, stuff like that. So it's kind of those kind of things, you know.
Gotcha.
I don't think they meant it like harmful way,
Yeah,
but it was
yeah.
just those kind of things that I'm like, all right, I'm
But-
gonna prove you wrong.
That same situation and scenario that you took as a positive challenge,
Mhm.
other people take that as, man, what if they're right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and
Absolutely.
that's what causes them to fall off and not follow through with, you know, that's that it factor, I think.
Absolutely.
Because what switches with people that all of a sudden they're successful and they lose the weight, there's something that switches in their mind where it's like they're not going to take no for an answer. Like
Yeah.
they're like, fine, don't be my friend. Laters.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
Eventually
exactly.
that happens. Until that happens, they don't see the change they're looking for.
And another big thing to me is more also on a business level, right? I was tired of being a hypocrite. I was tired of telling my clients, hey, you need to do this, you need to do that, and I myself wasn't doing it, you know? So I felt like I also owed it to my clients to basically walk the walk.
Yeah.
You know, I was tired of talking. And sure enough, like as soon as they saw my results, at the beginning they were the same way. They were kind of skeptical. Okay, cool, whatever. You're just trying to either sell me on something on the 60-day or whatever.
Yeah.
But once they saw me up to the last week and they saw how much I actually was drained when we were going the last week, the low carbs and stuff like that, they were like, wow. Like, they were really, really impressed. And then that led into the next 60-day. I didn't even have to ask my clients if they wanted to do it. They came up to me, hey, we want to do it. We want to do it, yeah.
Cool.
And then the winner one, my client actually won the one here in town and number one in Texas.
Her name again?
Chantel Griffin.
Ah.
Yeah. Shout out
Awesome.
Chantel. Yeah.
Sweet.
Awesome.
She's going to be joining our
class,
nutrition
yeah.
class,
Yeah.
man. Okay.
Yeah. And she's already talking about doing the next one.
She got down at what percent?
She went from 30% down to 19%, which was a 37%
What's her
change.
overall?
That is amazing.
She wants to get down, well, her initial goal when I met her was she just wanted to get down to 22, 24%, right? And we surpassed that.
Yeah, a lot.
But also what I like about 60-day challenges is I don't like people just to sign up just to do it. I want them to actually want it, right?
Mhm.
And of course y'all do too, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But people learn so much about their actual bodies. And that's one of the biggest takeaways she said she had was she learned how to manage her stressors as well, you know. Her biggest thing, she was a runner. She was a big time runner. And after the first 2-3 weeks, she noticed that she wasn't dropping body fat percentage as fast as she wanted to. And she's in here every morning at 5, 6 a.m. as well. And after lifting weights, she would run. And I told her, hey, I want to try something with you. And all we did was cut her running down, and she walked for 15, 20 minutes at a small incline instead of run. Body fat started dropping like crazy.
That's, man, so many clients need to hear that. And what was your why behind it? Because you have a why behind it. I know you do.
Again, just managing your stressors. Again, going back to what we were talking about earlier about how many calories you're taking in, she was basically putting too much stress on her body from not eating enough and then expending too much energy.
So you had her turn her workout intensity down.
Exactly. Yep.
Makes sense.
That's awesome.
So when you think about stressors, how did you manage your stress for the 60 days? Because we all know where you work, so we know about stress.
How did I manage it? That's a good one. Honestly, I just tuned everything out. I focused on just me and the wife, and then when I got home, she helped me work out as well. We did cardio at home together, and just basically just tuned everything out. Really, you know. I know it sounds cheesy, but literally put my headphones in and just focus. That's all I did. But once you actually start tracking your foods, I like to use Lose It. I know some people like MyFitnessPal. I think it's like Apple and Android.
Yeah.
User preference.
Yeah.
But as long as you use it, right? Tracking all that alone takes so much work that you have to concentrate so much into that you don't have really much time to worry about, oh, I got this going on, or I got that going on. That's like your primary focus. So.
Did you have to turn down any invites to go places?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Especially.
How did the people? Are you still friends with the people who you said no to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are very scared to tell their friends no, I can't hang out with you because simply they don't want to eat like shit.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And man, I have one of my best friends. He dealt with that so much. It's hard to say no to somebody.
Yeah.
And it's like that's the switch. You got to say no. You got to be selfish, right?
Yeah.
And I think that was important.
Especially in the Hispanic culture too. Like when my mom would come and visit me.
Nah.
Dude, she would try to. When I go to visit them, they would be like, my grandma would say, "You're getting too skinny. Please eat." And I'm just like, come on.
I get that. I mean, I don't. You guys maybe you've been around when my mom walks by, but she always looks at me and she's like, "Ay, mijo, are you eating?"
Yeah.
And I mean, trust me, I eat.
Yes, and it's hard to turn
my
down the
grandparents.
Yeah.
My nickname from my grandparents is Skinny. My grandpa calls me Skinny.
Yeah.
Every time my grandma, she sends me home with food.
Yeah.
Lots and lots of food. I'm like,
fatten us up.
okay.
It's crazy.
I need food. We're good.
But it's nuts. Just that you're right. Because every time I go to my parents' house, I mean, they have an island type countertop. It's kind of just sits on its own, and it's notorious for having junk food. And every time I walk by there, I'm just inspecting, like, geez, Reese's and pecans and Mexican candy and chips and dude, it's and I'm not gonna lie, I throw some away.
Yeah.
And I have some when I'm my weakness, my weak moments. I'll have some.
Yeah.
I'm more of a food person though. I overdo it with food. Not ever sweets over there, but I'll throw some away.
Another thing I too learned during the 60-day was you can still go out and eat with your family and friends. You know, when my parents would come to visit, I can't tell them no because they don't live here, right? They only see me every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, we'd still go out. We would go to Mexican restaurants and stuff like that. But when we sat down to eat, you just have to make healthy choices, like make smart choices, right? I would still have fajitas. I would still eat the onions. I would still eat the bell peppers, chicken fajitas. I would order the shrimp. I would order sausage. But I just wouldn't have the corn or the flour tortillas or the chips and salsa before or the margaritas as much as I wanted it. I just couldn't have it, right? So I just drink water with all that. That's it.
Now, was that really hard? Or
No, it really wasn't because the food still tastes good. Like it still tastes good. You know, the onions, and that's the thing. A lot of people just don't know how to cook, or they just don't want to learn how to cook. You know,
That's probably more what it is.
because the fruits and the vegetables, they have the natural flavorings to them. You know, so
to follow up on Isaac's question, like how many people did you lose out of your life? Was that ever a concern of yours? And I have a feeling I know the answer, but it's not going to be the same as average clients. Was that ever a concern that you were going to lose people from kind of your circle based on what you were doing?
if you would ask me this 2-3 years ago, yes, I would have been terrified. I would have been like, no, I don't want to lose friends. I don't want to lose friends. But then the older you get, the more you realize that the people who actually care for you, they see the benefit of it as well, and they're not going to leave your life. You know what I mean? So you have to surround yourself with people that love you, you know, that truly care for you, that aren't just there for a good time. You know.
And it really does. It helps for you to realize who your real friends are, the people that aren't going to get offended that you're making a decision to better yourself. Because at the end of the day, they want you here just as much as you want to be around them.
Right.
And so for that realization, the people that really care for you, I mean, that's a big eye opener. And it is scary trying to see, you know, who are these people for me. It is scary, but I mean, it is a big eye opener to really see who your support system is. It's pretty awesome.
Absolutely.
I think one of my clients put it best. We were talking about business, we were talking about a lot of different things, but he said that his philosophy is you pay now or you pay later. So we can all hang out today and then run the risk of having poor health later on, or we can skip today and be around 10, 15, 20 more years. Because that's really what you're in it for. You're in it for the long game. You know, it's awesome to be here today, but, you know, if I miss today's party and I show up, you know, 15 years from now, it's like, hey, we're still around. Whereas that other guy that was like the life of the party, well, we buried him like 2 weeks ago.
He had a heart attack.
Yeah.
Well, I'm here for the granddaughter.
Well, and that's just, that's crazy.
And that's true.
One of my clients came in, new lady I started working with, she's like, my husband, the reason why I came in here, my ex-husband, 56 years old, drinking, partying a lot, maybe some drugs, and went in for a nap one day, 56. 56.
Never
They
woke
think he had a
up.
heart attack, didn't wake up.
Oh, he died.
Yeah, he was.
Oh shit.
At 56, like you still got, I mean, I won't say half, but pretty damn close to half a life left.
Yeah.
My part of my family, one of my cousins, her boyfriend, I think he was a fiance as well. Again, it was lots of things that they shouldn't have been doing, alcohol, drugs, and things like that. He is the father of my cousin's daughter. My cousin, or I guess that makes her my second cousin, my cousin's daughter. She is now, I think she is now 12, but he passed away at 30 from a heart attack for that same kind of situation. And it's just heartbreaking because that's something that I know that my baby cousin, she has a really hard time never having had known her father because she was really young. I mean, this was probably about maybe 4 or 5 years ago now. No, longer than that. because she was probably maybe 6 or 7 when he had passed away. So that was a really big eye opener, realizing just what that kind of a lifestyle can very, very quickly catch up to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's something like, I know you plan on having kids, right?
No.
Oh.
No, I'm kidding, yes.
No.
But when you think about that, if you look at you 6 years ago, you versus the trajectory that you were on then versus the trajectory that you're on now, do you feel like you'll be around to see your grandkids?
Oh, absolutely.
Do you think your kids are going to prefer you being the healthy parent or being the parent that's I wouldn't say the more fun parent, because I feel like the healthy parent is the fun parent.
Yeah.
Man, that was so much fun, dude.
Yeah. You think your kids want you to be there longer versus something like this?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I want to be able to, my dad played sports with me when I was up until like 10, 12. But once I got to like 15, 16, 18, when I finally got able to beat him in sports, he could no longer, I guess you could say, move as good or whatever, just because our parents aren't us, right?
Yeah.
They didn't take care of themselves. They didn't foam roll. They didn't do mobility stuff. They didn't exercise like we do,
Mm-hmm.
So they just have hip
Issues,
shoulder, all that stuff. So I want to be able to still compete, when they get to a certain age.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
But that does make it fun. Like you said, you think that the healthy parent is the fun parent, and it's like, you're not wrong, because when you're younger, you think about the things that you've done with your parents. Like, I don't really I remember some of the things that we would eat, but the things that I remember about my family is the stuff we did. When my mom was going through school and trying to study and, better herself, my dad would take us to the park, free stuff. But we would go play. We would be active. Like, so having a healthy, parent or healthy parents or people who want to better your life, you're going to have so many more memories of the stuff you did versus just sitting around and watching TV and gaining weight. You're going to go out, you're going to play, you're going to explore. Chances are you're going to go hiking and see beautiful things. That's the stuff that you're going to remember, is looking back and saying, I had an amazing childhood.
mm-hmm.
And that's what you would want, for your child, for them to be able to grow up and want to be able to give that to their children as well. I do agree. I think being a healthy, which there's nothing wrong with sitting and watching TV sometimes, but it's just going out and doing stuff. That's fun. It's fun.
Yeah.
And the experiences, it's stuff that really it stays with you for a lifetime.
So it's okay to be selfish.
Yeah.
It
Like
is.
we talked about last time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
But it all comes full circle, because what you think of is, you stop doing certain things, you put yourself as a priority, but it's the end game. Now you just took care of your wife because you're going to be there. It's less likely for you guys to go out hiking and you to keel over. It's like, hey, my heart's healthy, we're good. And when you guys have kids, you're still going to be there. So as selfish as it was for you to do all those things and put yourself ahead of everybody, you did it for everybody. As weird as that sounds. And I think that's what a lot of people don't get either.
I think also too, it goes back to when you were asking me what made me want to do the 60 or what made me want to stay on track was, at the end of the day, man, it comes down to you wanting to actually want this for the right reasons, right?
Yeah.
Don't do it just because you want to look good for summer. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with that, but
usually
your goals
the
have to
people
be
who do it
realistic.
for summer, it doesn't last.
Right. Your goals have to be realistic.
Yeah.
They have to be realistic. And there's so many things that will basically make your goals realistic, right? Yeah, that's support, like we talked about. You have to have the realistic lifestyle, right? Support yourself with friends and family that really want the best for you. That's what it comes down to, really, for me at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it seems like one of the biggest things that we've touched on is a support system.
Yep.
So do you think that, I know you said that 90% and 95% of your success was your wife. Would you say that having that support system is going to trump just about anything else to be able to help you to succeed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Because right now she's doing the whole 30, right?
I've seen that. I've
Yeah.
been in love with her Instagram
Yeah.
lately. The food looks awesome.
Right now I'm not doing the whole 30 with her this one. I did last year. and it's hard. It really is, and I don't feel like it's very realistic for most. But if you need a metabolic reset, that's definitely the one to do. If you're gonna follow a diet, do that one.
It's crazy. It got ranked as like one of the worst diets, but
So
just because it's
restrictive.
Yeah, so restrictive, exactly.
Because a lot of people don't like the elimination type diets because it's scary. But I mean, to be fair, I mean, you type in anything paleo, and there's so many family-friendly. I'm not saying to do paleo or anything, but there's so many family-friendly meals, especially on Whole30, on stuff that eliminates what typically causes gut issues. There's so many very delicious options that are super easy to make. You can do it in your crock pot. I mean, all kinds of stuff. It's crazy.
So in summary, what did you guys each? One thing that you guys each took from this?
The true importance of, I mean, it's something that we've all said 1,000,001 times, but really having someone here explaining the true importance of having a support system, I mean, that just is mind-blowing how that took you, to where you wanted to be and even further than that, and that you're able to continue. I mean, yes, you're a fitness professional, but we all fall off. And having that support system, it just blows my mind how much of a difference that made. I think that's awesome.
I think people need to be okay with, putting your goals first, so being selfish, right? And sticking to them with it and saying no to people. I can't hang out tonight, or whatever. And if they're still your friends, and those are the people who really do care, right? Those are that support system that goes right up there with it, as opposed to maybe the person who's like doesn't call you back the next time, and you're like, okay,
Just forget about you. It's like,
and you won't. At that point, you're like, I'm better for it. Look how healthy I am, and cool. It's I'll give that person up. Like it's like that.
My summary and hopefully the takeaway I want you guys to take away from this is, again, surround yourself with good people who have your best interests at heart, and just have fun with finding out what your body needs and what your body wants. Just have fun with it. You don't have to be as strict as myself. Just set realistic goals, something that's going to help you take those small steps to a healthier you, right? You don't have to be as strict as I was or as Isaac or whoever. Just do what's best for you, and that's my biggest advice for the person watching.
So I came up with 2 more questions. I'm sorry. I do.
No, that's good.
So,
That's great.
did you have days you didn't want to do this?
Absolutely.
Okay, 3 more questions.
Okay.
Did you have days that you wanted to stop doing this?
Yes.
Okay, so what got you through all that?
My competitiveness.
Okay, that's
my competitiveness. And I like just challenging myself. I don't like complacency for the most part. I've never ever been below 12% in my life, just from my genetics and lifestyle factors, things like that. In high school, I was chubby all throughout most high school, and then I got super skinny around 12, 13%, but it wasn't like a healthy 12, 13%. I was just skinny because in college you don't eat much. All you do is drink, and I played college basketball, so that's all I did was run and drink. So I didn't have much muscle. I was just a skinny fat, basically, right? Yeah. And then once I stopped playing basketball, I started gaining weight again, and then I would always fluctuate. So I just wanted to do something that I've never done before, to be able to tell my clients, hey, look, if I can do it, you can do it too.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. So that's my takeaway. Things are going to get hard, but you got to push through it. You got to find a way that that this is going to end, or it's going to have a goal, and you got to know that today's going to suck, but tomorrow may be great, and the next day may suck. Yeah. So it's all about that end game.
Good.
So I've got one more thing, just because you brought up your competitiveness a lot. I'm not a very competitive person. Yeah. I don't care how fast people are. I don't care if you're faster than me. I don't care if you lift more weights than me. I have a hard time finding my competitiveness to do, all kinds of stuff, not just health and fitness. But what would you say to someone who is not competitive? How would they get through this if they don't have that wanting to beat Brad Bowen, their Brad Bowen? What is it?
Well, I use the term competitiveness very, very loosely because...
Yeah, I was about to...
Yeah.
Because I'm competitive also external but also internal, right? And I kind of hit a little bit when I said I wanted to do something I've never done before.
Yeah.
That's me competing against myself, right?
Great, so maybe turn it inside.
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly. But also, again, I like to lead by example. So even though you're not competitive, let's say you want to set a good example for your kids, or you want to set a good example for your clients, right? I don't like being a hypocrite. I don't. I know we all have our moments, but for the most part, I don't like being a hypocrite. So if I'm going to tell my clients, hey, I need you to cut back on your alcohol,
I expect them to follow through.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's basically it. So again, competitive is kind of loose term, but that kind of summarizes it.
I think, yeah, you're competitive with being able to follow through with it. And I think those people who aren't competitive.
Because I mean, how many coaches have we had in high school or college, or whatever, and we were like, and they would tell us to do something, we would say like, hey, your fat ass can't do it, either in our head or, you know.
Yeah,
So I'm pretty
that's
sure
very true.
when we're telling my clients, hey, do a burpee, or hey, cut back on this, or do whatever, they'd look at us like, you can't even do it.
When's the last time you did it?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I see what you're saying.
So I wanted to eliminate all that, you know, so.
Great, cool. I just wanted to kind of touch on
No,
that
no,
because
yeah,
I know
yeah.
because a lot of
That's
people
a good
take the
one.
word competitive
Because
as
you're right.
Yeah.
so
External
awesome.
motivation.
Well, Eddie, thank you for spending your time with us, sir.
Thank you for having
This
us.
is cool, man.
Thank you for having us.
Of course.
Or having me, sorry.
Yes.
So technically, we have you and your wife. That's all we were talking
Yeah,
about.
It's good to have a commissioner on the street.
Yep.
So, yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you.
So next time, guys, any questions, comments?
Sorry.
Any questions, comments? Please let us know.
For sure,
Leave them
absolutely,
in the
guys.
comments below.
Yeah, I'll
Please.
put Eddie's link down here. I'll put his Instagram there, like I usually put everyone else's.
Yeah.
And he has a really good YouTube channel too. It's
My
definitely.
Instagram
taken
is my main too. Go to my Instagram. That one's good.
Yeah.
So just put that underneath your name right there.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys very much. Please like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you guys next time.
Excellent.
Bye.
Have a good one.
Thanks for checking us out. If you like this, go ahead and like it, share it, subscribe. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram.